Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're speedrunning HGC Korea tonight. We had 5 wins in a row. No opposition from Feliz just yet. It's one of those matches where you know it's going to be rough. You and I were talking about during the break about how when you lose a game 1 like that, in game 2, you're just not even functioning at your full capacity. Your brain has already decided. You're like every human and every animal, I guess, that exists has like that fight or flight instinct. And when you know, like, you can't fight, you feel like you want to run away, and then you can't because you're playing a tournament match that you have to play, so you have to try to fight.
Yes.
And it's like feels counterintuitive because you're playing against this team that you know is way better than you and has so many international results and is undefeated, whereas you have not taken a single win. Like, these two teams could not be further away from each other on the spectrum. Like, the number 1 to number 8 is, like, not even really where we're at. We're, like, at the 9-0 versus the 0-9, like, at the bottom. It's like the scale is tipped massively. You know, if this is like that the seesaw, like, Gen.G's here, and then the Feliz is, like, launched into space, okay? So it's going to be a tough match, and I don't know how they bounce back from this, G-Cliff. I'm, like, trying to look out, trying to rack my brain, I'm trying to think of this. I just don't think they do.
Well, Korea is a different region. I think it's got a special taste to it because of these kind of matches where we could see them grow and how strong the opponent is actually. And there's this big gap even in the region, which a lot of people actually think because Korea wins all the international. Korea is a strong, very strong region with all the teams, but even in the region we only have maybe the top 3 and then the 2 or 3 after and then the bottom ones. But we have this gigantic gap compared to all the other regions because our meta is compared to the other region is very stuck in one meta together. And then it usually takes forever and ever for a team to actually get better. Blossom took a year and a half now to actually be in the middle. And they did break into the top 3 just for a little bit and then they dropped down. And that may be the line in between forever. I think this is the final chance for Blossom to actually break that top 3. If not, we'll just have that all together. That's basically the reason why we're having this big of a gap all the time. That's
I mean, you can look at Korea as like a set of stairs. Like, the 8th place team is the first step, and then like 7, 6, etc. And then when you look at it like that, like if you look at the top step or the top of the pyramid versus the bottom, like there's a large gap there when you end up with the 1 versus 8. And every region, you know, in places exists because there are 8 tiers, but I think in Korea it's very defined and it always has been. So doesn't mean that the region is weak per se, but because it's so top heavy at the moment, you do end up with these massive disparities in skill. So Cursed Hall will be the map choice
from Feliz, actually.
Yeah, into this against Gen.G.
So let's see if they have something unique, like Miracle did once in one of the last week's matches. So far, Gen.G just staying with the same map period.
Not changing it up. That's the safest way to draft against a team that has chosen the map against you like this, and you don't know what they're running. You just kind of take the top tier hero that flexes well into any draft. We can take a look at, you know, we've been trying to talk a lot about what Feliz could do to win, but I think what I want everyone at home to do is just accept that this series is over. And look at what Gen.G is doing and why they are winning and why they are so strong. I think if you look at it that way, the series becomes a lot more interesting.
What do they mechanically do and synergize together, and how they draft? Because they have a pattern. They actually have a pattern of drafting because they basically has an unlimited hero pool, but they have very good pattern you can actually find out if you look at them all the time when they draft. But this is not a good sign for Feliz. They chose the map, and they're taking this much of a time to get the picks, but I do like those 2.
Yeah, they've taken 2 of the heroes that have been staples for Gen.G. Since Urel's release, she's been Coach's most picked hero. Sake as well on the Karazim has had his greatest success. And both have been played in this series. Urel twice by Kyocha, Karazim in the first game, denied in game 2. So once again, they take it away. Sure, this does mean that Rich gets his best hero in the Hanzo. But I think the impact that Urel and Karzim have had on the dive-heavy, aggressive style we've seen from Gen.G throughout this best of 5 is, you know, it's what empowers their style. It's what allows them to be so aggressive and dive over walls. So, to the Dahaka ban.
I think it's time we see some hammer or something unique like a Zero Tool or hammer. They do have Urel, so it does pair up pretty well. They've never picked hammer yet in this part number 1.
Yeah, of phase 2.
Let's see if they did play 6 hammers before, and that's Tutu. But I think that transferred from his old team Miracle though.
Yeah. All right, Gleaming and the Burden coming through.
Okay, saving flex for the last pick.
So look at what Gen.G's comp can accomplish right now. All they have is Rich's best hero, the Hanzo, and boss control with ETC, Hanzo, clear time, etc. ETC is good at controlling the boss zone itself. So how do they approach this? They see the Burden, they see the Gleaming, they say, okay, we still have boss control no matter what. What are we missing? We don't have the greatest wave clear, and we don't have, you know, the ability to deal with burst damage because they have the Malfurion as the support. So they take a look at the soul lane, Urel. They know that Blaze is going to be a tough matchup into it. And they look at, say, Gleaming's burst is a problem. Karzim can isolate us with 7-sided. What's the answer? Bunker is the answer. They grab the Blaze, they bring in the Junkrat for further boss control, further wave clear. And now you have a composition that has synergy. And not even talking about things, by the way. The Maya pick doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What do you think about it? I'm not a fan.
Even with a disc and 7-sided.
You can shut down, you can stop a bunker from being used if you hit Blaze before you can use it. More 3s.
And he says, we want full set.
Yeah, to say we want to have.
We want full
game
set.
5s. But not happening tonight. So, you know, the Maya pick comes in here. You could disc the Blaze. You could disc the ATC. Warden's Cage, I think, is completely out of the question here, especially against the Junkrat. Not really going to be what you want.
Is he the Avatar guy back from Super League? Because he actually had the sketchbook.
You know, he could be. I'm not actually sure.
Remember the guy with,
yeah,
with the hat all the time?
I do remember.
He was the best artist.
I can't confirm. Tempest logos, by the way.
My 5th pick. I would have liked a little bit more if it was Gleaming, and them going back to the old ones. Just follow up a lot better with the catch. Kill catch potential, Karazim, Gleaming, go for the throat. And can even go for Cursed Bullet. I think it's not out of the question if they had Gleaming. But in this Maiev comp, how they actually want to continue with the tether, they don't really have... They have some, but not too much crowd control. Like, if they have Malfurion, or something that could pair up, but a lot easier than the skill shots of Muradin and also Urel. I think it could have made a lot more sense, but in this case, we're nothing really pairing up with the tether. I'm kind of lost on it.
I would have preferred a hero that has more consistent damage, like the Greymane you mentioned, Phoenix, or, you know, I mean, just really anything else. Tychus, I would have preferred to this. Maiev can get Q resets on boss points, and obviously with the bunker and the ETC comp that they're running, everyone is going to be kind of stacked up. We do go into those boss fights, but otherwise, there's not a lot of pairing here. The disc, if the disc is the reason why you picked Maiev, then I think you're being too idealistic as to what the disc will be able to accomplish in actual practice over theory. This has been, obviously, with the biggest map of the 3 we've seen, Tomb into Dragonshire, now first. This has been the map where Feliz is able to avoid death the longest, not get picked in the early game, not just because of the different than comp for Gen.G because of map size. You know, it's a lot more difficult for Gen.G to rotate and look for aggressive picks.
We'll see. They pick the map. Maybe they have something that we are not seeing yet in this game. Focusing on the Gyocha, but the rest of them are way taking too much damage from Rich and Reset together.
Yeah, Gyocha about to have another stun. Nice juke there by Aimer. We'll get away. All the while, as Gyocha rotated down, Hanaten is getting extra soak top. Push that into the cannon wall, so a whole minion wave was lost by Gen.G. You can see that in the experience bar. They lost all 7 minions in the top lane for that wave.
Nothing too crazy from Feliz.
They're invading now too.
Blaze coming down will be the problem. They do not steal the camp yet. They do manage to get it, but
what's the
what
consequence?
cost?
Yeah, what's the consequence here? Band of Knives doing a lot of damage, but they're going to look to burst down OJ. It's going to be a trade. Li Ming is getting a reset from that, though. And, you know, despite the fact that Rich finishes his quest in sub 3 minutes, which is mind-boggling to me every time, this is a better trade for Feliz overall with the tribute spawn. ETC is rotating up now. Really similar respawn times for Blaze and Muradin to return to the fight.
Brilliant move. Just understanding where Gen.G would be because they had the same patterns on this map. Might have just studied the pattern on the camp. There wasn't too many other places to go on the map either. It was a bold move.
They got the extra soak. They had the lane advantage in top, and in that one moment, that one advantage they had, they actually capitalized on it and went for an invade. It was a very intelligent decision. Love seeing stuff like this from Feliz. Tist is caught here. Get flown up here in a bad position. Tether helping to secure that kill, and I think that Gen.G is going to have to give the first tribute of the game. Reset's trying his best to shut this down with some grenades here.
Can we have trust? Can we have hope for Feliz? I think it's slowly starting to build up. Stonebolt.
It's already used his jump, yeah, but it's gonna be fine. Blaze is soaking bottom. You're all soaking mid, so it ends up being a pretty even soak game at the moment. But ooh, Rich eats a lot of damage, avoids that orb. For the first time in this series, Feliz has a lead. Let's see how long they can hold on to it.
They can't get the tribute. There's so much poke. It is actually insane unless they have perfect body block from all of their team members.
Yeah, you have the scatter arrow, the moonfire, the grenades.
It's almost impossible unless they find few kills.
Aimer is in some serious trouble. Nice vault to dodge the scatter, but he's still very likely going to go down. Rich commits in, stays here, gets that Gyocha flank. And oh man, this is not looking good for Feliz. They're in the worst possible spot. Choke point here, but resets for Dudu.
Nice.
Only gets the one.
Triple stun. Getting some damage done. Follow up with the great parse life from Tush.
They were just in such a bad choke point. Oh, the scatter arrow made Li Ming disappear. Hanzo's a magician.
That almost seemed like
where'd she go?
Single Q from Reset? No, it was all the scatter damage.
Where'd she go?
Look at that, already 20k from Hanzo.
Where did she go, G-Cup? Where'd she go? I want her back.
Back in the next.
Oh man, finishes the quest in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. 20k hero damage at 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Those Overwatch heroes.
Get a boss play.
Pretty sure developer team is sleeping now, so it is actually a good time to see crazy amount of damage from Hanzo.
This is not about Hanzo, this is about Rich and his skill as a player. They're going to invade boss. Are they getting the double boss? Tist wants it. He steps forward.
Junkrat is not even here. They want to contest. Actually a good chance for Feliz.
Okay, here's a power slide in from Tist. Hanaten is very low. Face melt.
Did take a lot of damage from boss.
He needs to get on it. He's on it. It's at like 1%. Hanaten is very, very low, but the resets are going to come through.
CP, oh great. They do get the boss, but look at all the losses.
Mosh interrupted.
Oh, it gets into the bunker and does die. Li Ming gets the kill.
Dudu, he wants another reset here. Rich is slowed.
In the middle, they get the boss on top, pushing all the way. Junkrat gets the second tribute as well. So win-win-win for Gen.G.
Yeah, the only thing they didn't get was the boss. They got the 10 advantage. This is a 4v5 fight. They still almost, well, they won the fight. They just almost got the boss as well. Keep wall goes down here. Massive wave now has to be cleared by Aimer. That'll give him 10. But if you compare the difference of what the bosses were able to achieve, you almost forget there was a boss at all for Feliz. Only got a wall compared to top port and keep wall with the wave push, vision control. 10's just now being reached for Feliz. Pretty unique build for Furel. Looks like she went for the heal on level 4. Bit of a adaptation, shall we say. More unusual pick. Everything else pretty normal across the board.
Don't really see too many, but with the cage, I think they have been working together to actually focus. They're focusing this in this game for Feliz. Has been a lot better. Look at the isolation, getting few of the bunker saving time.
Okay, OJ got his avatar off before he got stunned, but not going to get much else done. They just are so low on health. Right now, Leo doing everything he can to keep everyone healed up as the Tranquility is tossed out here. They will be able to kill this Wizard camp. Gen.G doesn't get a single kill in this fight, though. Feliz with a nice disengage. But this is the cursed tribute for Gen.G, so Feliz is going to have to take this fight. And they do commit to the Warden's cage. Hanan looking for Tist. Did not have 7-sided strike available. Oh, look at this collapse! That is going to be the kill onto Hanaten.
Little too late with the Aimer. Does have the cage up, but it's 45. Massively poked by Hanzo. CC's connecting. Just looking for a big mosh pit play.
Gets
not
the
even
kill with
needed.
the slide. No mosh needed. 7-sided strike, but everyone steps in. Liu looks like he's going to walk out unscathed, but they do get the curse. Despite Reset and Rich's best efforts, Liu does survive. But man, do they make ETC Blaze look terrifying on this map with all the CC, all the stuns. And they're looking for a keep now. Midport is under duress. 13 talent tier advantage for Gen.G. Feliz started off strong on this map. The things have changed a lot since then.
That was only a few minutes ago. It's not even past 10 minutes. The first keep damaging 3 levels apart. Well, just joining the fight. Can't join the fight. Actually has to deal with the camp.
OJ's caught again. Avatar buys him time. The mosh there to confirm the kill. 7-sided completely ignored here by Gen.G. They're not in the zone. They're looking for a double keep play off of this. Look at the players of Hanaten so stuck. Feliz is in deep trouble here.
Can just rate out of there, so not really the biggest tool, but first is going to end, so they can't really push all the way to the keep, or can they?
Well, Hanaten gets over
They
the
do
wall.
have bunker. I think they're looking for the second keep.
I think they can if the wave is coming up right now. They don't have Urel, so they can't just give armor here, so they are going to back off. Too risky. Very fortunate for Hanaten. He does survive there. The keep comes back online. Heading towards the top lane right now is most of the members of Gen.G. The boss should be up for a little while, so they just want to maybe make a top lane pick onto Urel. Spotted is Tist.
Oh, isolated ETC. Oh, does manage to escape with the help, little bit of help from Reset. That was enough because Gleaming was missing from on that moment.
So is Rich. He just got the camp bottom. Just going to push towards the core. Going to empower those catapults. Really nice read by Feliz, though. They saw what was happening. They countered it. Huge Sonic Arrow. Everyone's revealed. But that was actually a great play. They almost got the kill onto ETC. Had the levels been closer, it would have definitely been a pick.
One of the best thing about Hanzo that people don't realize is actually the Sonic Arrow, because he doesn't really have to face check, or he would just get so much information out of that one single hit of skill, and you rarely run out of mana as well. They're actually diving in 3 levels apart. Can they do it?
Okay, here's the 7-sided strike coming through. OJ does get out. Coaches on this. The bunker is still up. Riptire coming through from Reset at a safe angle. They do steal the boss away. Can they win the fight?
Oh!
Kocha goes down.
Dude gets the reset. That's only one, so they have to disengage. So much pokes still happening. Hanaten may have to sacrifice himself for the boss.
He went in to get a lot of heals from his heroic, but it's going to cost him in the end. Reset with the concussive mine for the chase. Good dodge here by Liu, and due to none of those grenades hit, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to cut them off. It's a trade. The boss, though, win for Feliz.
They stole
Baby
that.
steps, yeah.
3 levels apart. I was about to say they're crazy for going in, but early drop onto the bunker to buy time for Kyocha. Great isolation created by Feliz positioning. They're diving deep, and they actually sustained really well with getting together, getting the heals from Kerosene, even though they got some massive damage from that Riptire. They did survive all that.
Yeah. Showing signs of life, honestly, in this final game. Potentially final game, I should say.
So far, they're playing the best game.
They have certainly closed the gap a little bit. So Gen.G playing aggressively forward now. Hovering around this boss after clearing top boss. Dudu feels the wrath of Hanzo. They're going to start the boss with Rich. Knows the positioning of Kyocha right now in the mid lane. Just kind of having with now Reset to shove that mid towards the mid keep. And then they can come down here with the extra vision advantage. Ooh, turning on to Rich here. Very risky play by Hanaten. Ends up taking a ton of damage for it. 3 seconds till his heroic's ready. He's going to need it. They'll survive through here. Everyone gets out, but the boss control now completely to Gen.G. And they chase completely just to guarantee they can get this boss.
Urel's way too low. Needs a lot of time to go back on full health. Carries immediately not enough compared to Malfurion. Sustain War. Gen.G has to win. So, first damage on the Tish. Gets the tether. Gets one down. That's the reset for Li Ming.
Riptire doing a ton of damage. Kyocha trying to get killed. He can Hanaten, but he pops his heroic. He's surviving here. Bunker has to be used. They're going to give up the boss. It is going to just be explosions going off here. Rich is carrying this fight. Everyone's going down. Scatter Arrow gets the double. He wants a triple. Isn't going to be able to get it. But the boss is taken yet again by Feliz. So Gen.G wins the fight. And for now, the second time they lose the boss. Third time, actually. 3 bosses lost this game where they win the fight but lose the boss. Means the boss obviously doesn't get much done. But the level gap that was 4 levels earlier is now only 2. Still have Curse Point against them, but Feliz is fighting tooth and nail in this final game to bring it back.
The gap is closing, and that's because the amount of concentration that we saw from Feliz in this game, the Shock Hall, and how they're actually focusing onto ETC, one of the less HP tanks you would say. And because as long as they get a single kill, that's the moment Dudu really shines. Focusing all the damage, gets the reset, possibly going for the next one. I think they can't really continue after they focus so much onto one target. But that has been the problem against the bunker, against ETC. When Blaze actually goes into the bunker, he would leave ETC alone, getting all that damage focused in. And Feliz, they were not really doing the same in Game 1. Game 2, they were lost in the shock calls, in the focusing especially. But in this game, they're doing one thing right for sure. The focusing is right for them.
Yeah, the just control with Urel, Muradin, super sustainable. You can get onto the point itself because the bunker's gone. And they're punishing Tist, who's playing so greedy. You gotta be careful though. This is going to be a tough fight to win, and they need to. They lose it, it's Curse again. It's a top keep. Here's the engage from Rich. He's going in, Tist on top of him. Gleaming Orbs coming through. Bunker is up. Liu does survive your Tranquility, keeping everybody healed. So much sustainability, like you mentioned, with the Malfurion pick. The chase is on. Here is the channel. They give it up. Please, they've got to make a play. They've got to make something happen here. Clock is ticking against them.
Getting poked out from Hanzo. Just still holding the mosh pit. Wanted to cancel the toss with the base melt there.
Liu just doing everything he can to keep Maiev healed up. Rich in a really good spot to do damage here. Dodges the Storm Bolt. Riptire. Oh, this is not looking good for Feliz. Looks like it is going to be OJ who dies first. Hanaten is going to use his heroic to buy time for his teammates. But if he goes down, it looks like the series will end with him. But that's going to be 2 dead with long death timers. Curse is active. And already there's Siege Giants that were taken earlier by Rich, and Catapults are on the core. Gen.G is going to look to end this game, and with it the series. grabbing these Knights on their way up. 25 seconds for OJ's respawn. This is not a guaranteed win for Gen.G, but any single pick will be that. Now Feliz is going to have to make their last stand.
Still 2 members down. Well, 22 seconds. The respawn is actually not pretty bad for Feliz. And if the 4 is already going down from the catapults as well, they have more than enough damage. They're about to hit 20. I think they may finish before.
7-sided strike, just going to be a temporary reprieve. Liu will go down.
Extra DPS from the bunker.
And that's GG. That's the series 3-0 to Gen.G. Would love to see those Hanzo stats. And guess what? We're about to. What do you think of this time?
Well, I actually have to give props to Feliz after dropping 2 games. We went on a break, got some refresh.
It was their best game of the series.
It was, certainly. And we were looking for those crisp shot calls, the focusing. We could see that happening in game 3. They actually stole the camp early game and the bosses as well, even though it was a win, well, much more of a win for Gen.G because they had the snowball early on.
Yeah, they were able to win the fights, but if the tune-up of Feliz's play occurs throughout the rest of this phase, I think that they, in a similar game, if they just tighten up some aspects of their play, then maybe they win that game. Maybe they're able to win the fights and the boss controls. Hanzo damage, 94k,
in
62 more than Dudu.
In 0 seconds.
94k, 9-0, and Dudu only had 1 death. So, pretty dominant performance, you could say, from Gen.G in this series. But as you say, Feliz putting up a good fight in that final map. And any other result from this 3-0 would have been preposterous to predict. But I think Feliz could be at least happy with how well they coordinated the last game.
Yeah, I think we could see what their mission was, and they actually got their mission done. Focusing, staying with Irel, working a lot better. I do see Hanaton in a passive mode, actually being pretty effective along with OJ's Murden, the most picked from OJ. And they synergize pretty well for the backline for Dudu to actually have space, have focus onto one target. And it seems like carries him off from Sake actually works pretty well for Feliz as well. So not a bad draft against Gen.G. I want to see them actually go further into this direction that they're actually going right now, and maybe have some more steps next time and complete that as well. And overall, over time, they could be a better team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. The biggest hurdle for them is going to be the Crucible, obviously. If things continue down this path, they're going to be going through those relegation matches. So they're going to take every loss as a learning step. And I think in that third game, we did see better play. I think we did see counterplay. And the biggest thing was Tist being very aggressive and playing so greedy on the ETC. And eventually they were like, no, man, he's doing this every time. We can stun him. We can kill him. They almost killed him in that time when he was in the top bush. And it was super predictable that Tist would be there based on how he was playing all game long. They took a chance on just tossing a blind Stormbolt in there and expecting he was there. They found him. They almost killed him. Again, had they been on even footing, like you were saying, if they hadn't been so far behind in experience in the early game, that ends up being a kill. That ends up being an easier boss take. And a lot of these things don't snowball away from them like they did. So, yeah, Feliz showing signs of life, but unfortunately, if you go back and look at the esports website and the results screen, you're going to be like, ah, yes, Korea 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. But that final game at least was perhaps one of the more entertaining ones tonight.
I think we just have a lot of these 3-0. We happen to have them early on, and we'll have a lot more exciting matches coming up soon. And that's why we have early on these kind of matches, and then we'll have closer matches soon. I think that's coming up starting tomorrow. And we only have 3 more weekends, actually.
Yeah.
So we're already half through part number 1. And that's going to start with Tempest versus Blossom.
And then Ballistics Gluck, which is, you know, depending on how Gluck performs, like it could be a decent series. Like they've looked a little bit weaker this season. Gluck's had some hardships in terms of their roster. So it could kind of go either way, but obviously Ballistics the favorite. We've had like a little bit of delays on our interviews today, so I don't know what's going on, but that's why I'm pointing out the schedule already. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. But we're going to get to see a lot of highlights in just a second before we go in the interview, and I want everyone to focus on 2 things. Like, first of all, how coordinated Gen.G is, and how when someone goes in, like you said, like Rich just says go, and everyone goes, and how little lag there is between communication and the rotations, the movement is so fluid. It's almost as if one person is playing all 5 heroes. And on top of that, like how much damage Rich is able to do on the Hanzo. And that's a pick that he has been given just way too many times. Just way too many times right now. Internationally, even if he's going as far back as the midseason brawl, teams were giving Rich first pick Hanzo on Battlefield of Eternity. This when we get the 3 bans next week,
It will
this
never
cannot
happen.
happen. This cannot
It
happen.
cannot happen. It cannot. It has to be banned. I mean, you have 2, and one can be at least Hanzo. And I'm not saying just against Gen.G, against Ballistics, against Tempest, or just any team. I think if you don't have the first pick, Hanzo must be banned in BOE, or else the opponent will just close to 99% just pick that Hanzo and just be far away in the range, unless your team has some weird upsets. And in BOE, Hanzo just has to be banned. I think.
I mean,
That's the conclusion.
I really do strongly feel it's Rich's best hero as well. And when you look at the stats, like all of his heroes are 100% win rate, so it's hard to differentiate that. But if you do the eye test and you actually look at it closely, I mean, this guy picked Hanzo into Tracer back when Hanzo was starting to get meta. When everyone was saying you can't pick Hanzo into Tracer, Tracer's the counter, he would see the Tracer and be like, I picked this Hanzo into the Tracer. I look at the Tracer who tries to pulse bomb me in the eye and kill her. The guy is a phenomenal Hanzo player, and if you're trying to just play to the meta, where Hanzo is a little bit lower priority these days than he used to be, doesn't matter what map it is, you're going to have a bad time against Rich.
Yeah, still very strong. I don't know why we're on the camera for such a long time, but maybe there's a...
It's because of our beautiful shirts.
I know. You got to talk about it, and it's brand new for phase number 2. We don't get to choose. It's not our choices. It's just...
What are you talking about? You and I went to the store and we were like, these are the slickest shirts
to the Itaewon
I have ever
extra
seen.
big sizes.
I got these tailored to me with pillows underneath them. Yeah.
We had a nice day. Itaewon.
Yeah. Get these nice shirts. And everyone in the chat loves it.
Only 25K. Of course, not dollars. 3 in 1, but the result, as you see on the screen, 3-0. That was it. Reset. The biggest problem for Gen.G today was that Reset got his PC died.
Yeah, he did have to rejoin the first draft.
And that was the biggest problem for the team. Everything else is solid. It almost seemed like Noble S was saying, even though the players wanted to do something crazy, like Raynor, Asmodan, before the rework, and Noble S said, no. We don't want to reveal anything. We play the same old, like Sake just playing Karazin, Malfurion, and maybe Futher, I think. And even Tis just playing 3 heroes in 10 plus different games now. So just having Johanna, no Garrosh, Futerials, and what was the other one? Muradin.
Muradin, yeah.
Just those 3. So I think they're intentionally just trying to keep everything in place, so they don't want to reveal anything to any of the lower matchups.
Because they're the best drafting team, they get away with all of this stuff. And like, if you try to outdraft them and force them to do something else, they're probably gonna do it. But like, the only person who wins then is the other teams that are watching the draft. Like, aha,
oh
like,
yeah,
I see that. But yeah, I just feel like I would draft differently if I had like 5 players that I knew were just S tier level, and I'm not talking like, okay, it's Feliz or, you know, this guy's got this comfort pick, right? If I could have, okay, let's just say I have 5 dudes who can play any hero and there's no hero pool problems. Like, I draft so differently than most of the teams draft against Gen.G. But obviously I've been commentating their games for years, and, you know, I've been watching them quite a bit, going their run through midseason brawl, their undefeated run so far through regular season right now. But sometimes it is baffling what these teams allow Gen.G to do. And when I looked at the hero sheet today, like you were saying, to see like the hero pools, and it's the smallest of any team. It's the smallest of any team. We're talking like 5 heroes maximum for most players. And when you look at that and you think about this team, you don't think this team's got hero pool problems, so that's why it's low. You think, well, they just keep getting everything they want and then destroying with it, so they don't have to show weird hero picks.
Yeah,
looks like the interview is finally almost ready.
It's actually going to continue. It is going to continue because next week we'll keep on saying this. We'll have 3 bans. It's going to be bigger of a problem for the bottom teams and less of a problem for the top teams. And the big matchups, Gen.G versus Tempest, that's week 4 with 6 bans in. And even Gen.G versus Ballistics, that's the final day of HGC Korea for this part, so that will be 6 bans. So they're hiding a lot because just in case, if they show anything, that's likely to be banned for those games.
Very true. I mean, I think everyone's going to have their own feeling and idea about what the meta is and what heroes are top tier when we do get into the Raynor Asmodee rework patch. But usually everyone in Korea emulates Gen.G to a certain extent. Outside of the top 3, they all have their own unique flavors and styles and comfort picks in terms of DPS, like SC, for example. But outside of the top 3 teams, everyone does emulate Gen.G, so they want to make sure they're still ahead of the curve. And it's a totally different, it's going to be a totally different meta. There's going to be so many different picks. Like, we're going to see rarer heroes, like the Stitches we saw earlier today, for example, because, and I think support chokes are going to happen a lot more often because just less heroes are going to be available. You can see Sign just, when he was not getting punished on this map, DTC plus Blaze. It's nasty on the map. We're going to hear from Kyocha today in our winner's interview, and G-Clef is going to translate.
Let's have an interview with Kyocha,
감사합니다.
number 1 team in the world.
오늘 일단 모든 선수들 컨디션 어땠는지 궁금합니다.
Let's hear. How's your?
오늘은
How are you guys
애들이
feeling
좀
today?
늦게 일어나가지고 좀 피곤한 애들이 많아서
We actually slept and woke up
막경기에
late.
약간 고전했던 것 같아요.
So we were a little bit tired. So last game I think we had a tougher time.
안 좋았나요?
딱히 그런 건 아닌데 그냥 뭐랄까 애들이 많이 피곤해하는 것 같아서.
I think a lot of our
조금은
teammates are actually a little bit tired.
근데 오늘 굉장히 경기를 잘했다.
So even though you were tired, you were still pretty good.
그거는 뭐 어느 팀이든 상대적으로 다르니까.
Oh,
네,
that's
알겠습니다.
the
지난
matches
경기
are
때
always
굉장히 컨디션이
com-
안 좋은 선수들이
compared by the other team.
보였었어요. 그때 이후에 컨디션 조절에 좀 신경을 쓰셨던 부분이 있나요? 일주일 동안?
the last time
제가
we heard you were sick as well.
저번 경기에서 제가 좀 많이
Get back.
던졌는데 아마 제가 컨디션이 많이 안
Well,
좋았거든요.
okay. I think last time I actually died. I even died, even had a solo death.
아, 영웅 리그를
And
조금 줄이는 게
within that time, I actually
본인의
practiced,
많이
played some
하면은
Hero League as well. I think that helped me a lot
많이
more.
못하겠어요.
혹시 왜 스트레스를 받는지 궁금합니다. 사실 뭐 실력이 출중하면
Wanna know,
스트레스를
of
조금
course.
덜 받을 것 같다는 생각을 할 수도 있을 것 같아요.
Seems like you just said you're stressed a little bit.
아시겠지만은
As you play
하면 안
Hero
보일
League,
수가
I know.
없거든요, 이게.
You try to relieve your stress by
아니,
playing
그게
game, but
뭐라
sometimes
해야지? 많이 하는 건
it gets to you.
좋은데
네.
이게
playing a lot
너무
is
많이 하다 보면은
certainly
그게
good,
오히려
but if you play
독이
too
될수
much,
있다는 게 이번에 깨달았어요.
네, 맞아요.
you get to know some things that you shouldn't know.
그 오늘 무결점 팀이라는 이야기가 굉장히 많이 나왔습니다. 일단 기분이
We had-
어떠신가요?
lots of comment that you guys look invincible.
지거든요. 그거 별로 그거는
We actually do
의미 없는
lose
말인
in
것 같고,
scrims,
네.
so I don't think that's true.
지금 지는 거는 솔직히 그렇게 의미 없다고 생각해요.
And which
근데
losing in
사실
scrim, I
지금
don't think
거의
it matters
장성
too much
상태입니다.
because they're trying something new.
제가 알기로는 다른 팀도 무페인 팀은 많지 않을까요? 템페스트나 아닌가?
아닙니다. 잘못 관심이 없으시네요, 다른 팀에.
And you guys are actually, you guys have dropped no set.
네, 혹시 이거는
games
약간 사담인데요.
compared to the other-
현실에서도
compared to the other
무결점
teams?
스타일이신가요?
아니요, 제가 입이 좀 거친 편이라서
네.
제 스스로
You
좀
you have a
자제하려고
dirty mouth.
노력하고 있는데
네.
Mouthful,
절대
mouthful
그런
of
건
words, and I also stream,
저랑
so I
왠지
don't
잘
try to
맞을
do
것
that as
같네요.
much.
네, 이건 이제 민감한 질문일 수 있는데요. 전에 사케 선수 인터뷰 때 국내 팀한테 지고 싶지 않다는 인터뷰를
Sake had a shout out
했었어요.
that they don't want to lose.
기억하시죠?
He
근데
doesn't want to
지금
lose to any
템페스트가
team in
약간
Korea.
상승세인 거 아시죠?
네.
And of course, you do know Tempest is actually climbing up really high.
오가는지 궁금합니다.
What did you guys talk about
템페스트 잘하는
in
거는
the middle?
저희 팀도 잘 알고
We
있고
do know that Tempest is really good.
중혁이 형이 그 말한 거는
Sake did say that before,
그 형이 원래 좀
but
가끔 그럴 때가 있어요.
he's that type of
혼자의
person,
의견일
you know.
뿐이다. 전체
He just
팀원의
says those
의견은
kind of
아니다.
things.
아, 네, 당연하죠.
It's not the entire opinion.
네,
Gen.G?
사케 선수를
It's
다시
just
한번 모셔보고
Sake?
싶네요. 일단 네, 알겠습니다. 다음 팀 일단 미라클 이제 기다리고 있는데요. 미라클 팀에 대한 각오 한마디
Next team up against Miracle. Let's hear what you have to say.
오늘 템페스트 상대로는 좀 고전했는데
Miracle versus
원래
Tempest,
잘하는
they had a
팀이라고
tough time against
생각하고
Tempest today.
방심하면은
And I think
디그랑 했던 결승전처럼 언제 또 무너질지 모르기
just like the
때문에
finals versus Dignitas, I think it's
준비해서
possible for us to actually
네, 잘 들었습니다. 인터뷰 감사합니다.
get some scratches
전선
against us.
무패를 기록하고
So we will
있는 젠지
try to
팀의
have a
교체
perfect
선수
game
여기까지 하도록
and not
하고요.
really
그럼 오성균
lose it,
캐스터님
drop any
나와주세요.
games against Miracle.
Yeah, very humble interview there from Kyoja. So we take a look at our final standings for today. We will have Gen.G still one win ahead of Tempest. Very, very neck and neck up at the top. Ballistics having that blemish on them still below, along with Miracle.